Welcome to game night tonight. We're excited because we're going to be teaching Bane here the game Honey Buzz. As always, my name is Brady Anderson, and as I mentioned, Bane here has never played Honey Buzz. It is a newer game, so it doesn't surprise me that he hasn't played it, but it is very, very fun and very fitting because you're going to be a beekeeper.
Yes.
He's already outfitted for it and everything. So we've got it all set up for a two-player game, and you're going to be learning right along with us. He's never played, as I said, so we're going to be trying to explain things as we're going. But it's a two-player game. If you have a four-player game, you're going to have nectar all the way out to the four-player mark. Everything here is the same. We lowered each nectar down a tick, reducing its cost, making it a little bit quicker to get to the end game. And the only other thing is this is a two-sided board up here, which has another subdivision here for collecting the different honeycombs to add to your hive. So the only thing that is marking who's going to be going first is this here little honey mixer. I don't know what would you call it, just a honey mixer. I don't know.
If you know what that's called, please let us know because we have no clue.
Yeah, comment below. We don't know, but it mixes the honey. We always see the Honey Nut Cheerio bee, buzzing around with this thing, and it's just drizzling off, like delectable. Anyway, that just dictates who's going to be going first. So we've got our honeycomb kind of set up. We haven't completed anything. We can't create any honey, but that's the ultimate objective of the game, is to get as many victory points by creating honey, going to the market, selling it, and doing that. But to do that, we have to build up our honeycomb, which we need workers for. So we only start out with one worker bee right now. This is where it gets fun. All right, so to initiate here, I need to build up my honey, my whole entire honeycomb here that is nothing right now, by collecting another. I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna place my bee right here to collect one of these tokens. I'm going to be placing it right here, thus completing this honeycomb. Now, when you complete a honeycomb, this is what's going to happen. We have all of the adjacent icons are going to activate right now. I can do them in any order that I want. So first, I'm going to be grabbing a new bee. When you grab a new bee, you grab from your stash here, and it goes into the new bee area. So I've activated that. Newbie. Yeah. I'm glad you got that one too. Yeah, okay, the newbie area. That's great. I will be foraging next. Now, I've completed this one, so if I can find the brown nectar, also known as the wildflower nectar, I can put it into my honeycomb. However, I'm only allowed to move one space at a time in the foraging area. So I am blue. I cannot move diagonally. It's only side to side or up and down, one space at a time. So my first move, I'm going to be going on here. I cannot collect the cherry blossom nectar yet because I have not completed that honeycomb for my hive yet. But because I'm foraging, I still collect pollen. Now, as you see over here, we have the groupings for the different nectars that will become honey, but the pollen down here, there's nothing with the color. It's just different colors, no difference. They're just pollen. So I'm going to collect I'll go with an orange one. I want an orange one. So I activated my newbie, my foraging, and now I get to do a wild. What I'm going to do on the wild is I am going to get another bee and put it there. That concludes my first turn.
Okay, I can instantly see why going first is an advantage in this game and why I start out with 10 more victory points than he does, because he's told me a little bit about how the game works before we started here. And what he said is because he's placed a worker bee here, in order for me to also get some larvae, I would have to place 2 worker bees next.
Yes, and this is called a beeline. So a beeline is where if somebody, even yourself, has placed one bee here, to grab another one of those honeycomb, you have to place one additional bee on top of the one that you're gonna be placing. So he'd have to place 2 in his beeline just to get that. So I've already taken it out for him. He can't do it.
Slight problem, I only have 1 bee.
Exactly. So right now I'm at an advantage because I'm gonna be getting 3 bees next time.
However, there is a way around this. If I were to, for instance, place my bee here, And because I got 5 extra victory points at the end, now you'll notice how this one says not only do I have to place a bee there, but I have to pay 5 victory points to get this. This is that card he used that lets him do anything.
Wild card. So what he's going to do is do that, of course. So he's going to pay his 10, get his 5 back, and he now adds a wild to his honeycomb anywhere.
Right, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to place the wild there.
And as you see, he has activated the cherry blossom honeycomb. Now that's going to activate 4 different things for him to do now.
So first thing I'm going to do, obviously grab my worker.
So he adds a newbie.
I got a newbie. You know, these masks are surprisingly comfortable, but
you can't see anything.
I can't see anything below here.
So if he looks like he's just...
If I look like that old librarian that you used to bring your books into that was just making sure it wasn't past the due date.
Yes, okay. $5.
Okay, let's see here. I've got this foraging here that I can do. I also have...
2 wilds to do whatever he wants, and then 1 foraging.
Now, I've created this particular symbol. Now, if I am saying it correctly, that's that one, yes?
No, this one is the one I did. You have done the cherry blossom, which are the pink ones.
Okay.
He's in the reverse conundrum that I was. I was over here. I needed to get the cherry blossom, but I did this one instead, but I could not move onto it. And he is in front of the one that I need. So
I have a bit of a dilemma here then, because I could do 2 foragings.
Yes, you could.
Because I have 2 decrees, and I'd still have 1 decree left over. If I did that, I would tie him with the amount of workers I would gain next time.
Yep.
So I could do that. I could grab the honey before you and match you, so I would be just above you. Or I could grab 2 more workers, be ahead of you in workers, but behind in foraging. Or actually even.
I mean, yeah, you're going to be foraging either way, so you're going to get pollen regardless.
So I think what I'm going to do, it seems like bees are essential here for building things up. I think in order to snowball, I'm going to use both decrees. Get myself some more bees there.
Okay.
Going to do my foraging. I can only move 1 in, and we're going to need to trade spaces there.
Yep, we will.
Yes.
And he collects his pollen for doing that because he wasn't able to add it to his honey
Take
combs.
a yellow.
Yellow this time. And that concludes your turn.
Yes.
Perfect. So as you can see, I don't have any worker bees. I can't activate anything because I can't add to my hive. Thus comes to the point of the end of like my first round, which is recalling my worker bees. So all bees come back to home. You always want to make sure that your piles are separate, that you keep your home bees and then the ones that you have not gotten into the hive yet separate at all times. Don't be cheating. That concludes my turn because I just had to recall my bees. I couldn't do anything, couldn't activate anything, so that's it.
Now, obviously, I'm in the same boat at this point, so I will take that back with my 1 extra bee.
Perfect.
And do that, making it your turn again.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing that you did the first round, and I am going to go, ooh, like that, throw my bee there, pay my 5, get a wild, and I am going to go like this. Now I've completed another honeycomb here, which gives me 2 wilds and a newbie. Newbie. And then my 2 wilds, I've completed the acai, but I need to get it. So the best thing I'm going to do is with one of my wilds, I will forage up to get this nectar for my hive. And it matches up.
If you've gotten that, does that mean you do not grab one of these?
No. So it's either you get the nectar from out there from foraging, or you're going to collect the pollen. So if there's an empty space that you pass over and end your turn on, you collect pollen regardless. But otherwise, you can collect the nectar, or if you don't have a spot in your hive, you collect pollen. So I've just collected this. Now, here's the fun part. I have one more action to do, and I don't know what to do. But at this time, I'm just going to grab a newbie.
Yes, that makes it my turn.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to take my first worker here. Let's go ahead and grab a worker. And I'm going to complete that one. So what that does is that gives me 2 wilds, a
Newbie.
and that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my newbie up there.
And you want to make sure that they're separate so that we know which ones are the newbies versus the bee lines.
Well, it should be easy. If there was another one here, it would be double stacked.
Yeah, shh.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Do you feel in charge?
That's my line. I'm the one wearing the mask.
Sorry, Bane.
That's right.
Go for it.
Do you feel in charge?
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I think his is better. He's got that rumbly deep. So now I've got... Okay, you're going to tell me out here. This fan.
So the fan is how you actually produce honey. So in my instance, if I activated a fan, I would put my fan token in my hive next to or adjacent to any of the actual nectars in my honeycomb. And when I do that, I would create honey. But since you don't have any nectar right now, the fan really does you no good.
Okay, now this is, as you said, what kind of hive is this?
That one you just created a rosemary, so the star.
Star. How do you factor that? Like, how do you figure that?
So it shows right here. I can show you here as well. So if you notice, the border along the outside has the 4 reds and 2 yellows. That coincides directly with his 4 yellows and the 2 yellows and the 4 reds.
Strike that, reverse it.
Yep, yes, take 2. But that's how it kind of matches. You can see what it is in that way. So you've created the star or the rosemary honeycomb.
The rosemary honeycomb. So what I could do then, my bee is currently here. I could use one of my 2 creeds, get the nectar, and then use the rosemary. Or then use the fan. I would then collect honey.
Yes, you could. Now the thing is, he is one space extra away from getting to one of the stars in any direction. So he can move here, but then still be 1 away. Now, in foraging, when you have a foraging action, you can pay an additional 2 coins or the 2 nuts or leaves or whatever you have to move 1 space further. So he could do that. It would just be at the cost of 2 coins.
But I just don't want to waste my fan over here.
That's fair.
Because then I'd have to pick up some more.
True.
I honestly, not having played the game before, I don't know that spending 2 tokens to gain the nectar and then to produce the honey, I don't know how much the honey actually does for you.
So the honey, ultimately, the most points you're going to be getting from honey will be coming down to the market or the orders you can complete. Now, when you complete the orders, you get the victory points denoted here, as well as a bonus activation down below in whichever pile you do. As well as, if you decide to sell the honey, it is worth whatever level it is currently at. So if you activated and did your honey in which one you'd be doing the star, you could sell it for 6 victory points, essentially.
Here's my second question. Do I have to activate all of these before moving another bee and maybe completing a second one?
You have to activate them instantly, yes, right now, before you can activate another one. Basically, you're just finishing out the turn, it activates everything.
Well, in that case, let's go ahead and... Oh, dilemma. Well, one of these is going to be a newbie.
So you've done your newbie and a wild.
I've done a newbie and a wild.
So you have foraging and a wild.
I've got a foraging and a wild, and I might as well use the...
Oh wait, you activated this one, sorry. You've got a wild and a pollinate. Yes.
I wanted to save this to try and get another wild, but it may be better to just save that 3 victory points, use the 2, and move my foraging... An
additional space to collect the nectar,
right.
Yeah.
So go ahead and move me over to where I can collect a star.
So his wild, as a foraging, so he's using his wild, he's going to move there, but then spend 2, get his 3 back, to move an additional way. Which way do you want to go? Up, to the right, or down?
Let's go up.
Up. You're going to be pinching me in there, huh?
Yep.
Okay. And he is going to take that, and it locks in there. Boom.
Boom, and which means now I can produce some honey.
Yes, you can pollinate. So he's going to take his fan there and place it anywhere adjacent, so it doesn't really matter where, and it will produce the honey on that particular space.
Does it matter where I place the fan?
No, it really doesn't. At this point, no. If you had multiples, you'd want to touch as many as you could to pollinate all of them.
But since I only have 1...
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's done that, and it instantaneously pollinates.
Now, I did this because this was the other part of the debate. I didn't know if I exactly wanted to.
Well, fewest rosemary cells. I mean, he already did activate the rosemary cell, but this is a contest. It's one of the queen bees contests. that at the end of the game, whoever has the fewest of those cells completed will get 20 victory points.
So I've already ceded 20 victory points to you if you don't build.
If I don't build any of them. But we'll see.
Right.
So this is kind of a long game one. This is also another queen bee contest. It's the most nectar. You're going to get a lot of points. 20 points.
I think that means it's your turn, though.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. All right, and I am going to... You made that fun.
I made it fun. Well, that's good.
No, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do that to get my acorn
Do you need 2
collectible.
there?
Yeah, because this shares the same space. On the flip side, for a 3 to 4 player game, it's divided, so I wouldn't have to do that. But because we're sharing the same space, I have to do a beeline. So I am going to put that here, like so.
Got to do that neck craning thing. Can't see. Feel like a stormtrooper helmet. If any of you know what I'm talking about, comment below. Stormtroopers' eyes are actually.
Yeah, they're like on their foreheads. It's awesome.
Why that one?
They're like a bug.
I was never good at geometry.
Yeah, geology's rough.
Yeah, and when I don't know the words for things, I usually just photosynthesis them.
Hey, that's great. That's a great way to do that.
Yeah, I think if I created that one, that would be a wildflower, yes?
The wildflower, yes. If you did one honeycomb and then put it lengthwise where the reds are touching inside, you will complete the wildflower.
It occurs to me the Assay may be the toughest one to create.
It is. It is definitely the toughest one. I kind of lucked out in the way that I did it, but yeah, it's a rough one.
I could get another worker, or I could forage some more and try and fill in this little guy here, because that is a cherry blossom, which is also decent. I mean, neither of us have gone over to this side, and I was just wondering if those are just more late game entries.
In my experience, this side has been a little bit more late game. This is more foraging. So foraging is probably the next best one until you can start getting from foraging the pollen to be able to pollinate and create the honey. And the market is when you start getting enough honey to actually fulfill orders and sell your honey. So it's kind of like a progressive game. It kind of starts here and then starts moving on to the other side of the board because you need certain things before you can do other things.
Well, I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start that now, because I have one more bee than you do.
Yes, you do.
And I've managed to maintain that, which means if I split it up, you have no more you can do. You have to recall next turn.
Mm-hmm.
I will still have a next turn.
Yes.
So I get one more turn than you do.
Yes, you do.
So if I use this and I complete here, I am creating a
wildflower nectar honeycomb.
Wildflower nectar honeycomb. All right, let's go ahead and do that.
The 3 that he's got activated are a newbie, a wild, and a foraging.
I get a newbie. Got a wild and a foraging. Now, for the foraging, I could try and fill the wildflower, or I could try and fill...
The cherry blossom, sorry. Cherry blossom.
I think the cherry blossom's probably worth more to me.
At this point, it's on 2. Well, I guess there's 2 for either way. But the closest to you would be one of the rosemary.
Would be one of the rosemary?
Yep, because you have rosemary here, and the wildflower are down here. So it's easier for you to go here or go up, whichever way. You get the rosemary, the cherry blossom already, and then the next turn you would get the wildflower.
I see. Cherry blossom I could get literally next foraging.
Mm-hmm. You could get it right now.
Let's do the cherry blossom. Okay, if I'm doing that, then I'm going to go ahead and...
Are you heading up, or are you heading to the side?
I'm going to go ahead, because this one right here, what is that?
That's the wildflower that you just completed here.
Right, so if I do that, I'll be right next to it.
Yes, so you're going to go here. He's going to collect this. It fills in his spot here.
Well, I have one more thing to do. Now, I can collect the honey, in which case, if I do that, I collect honey from both, right?
You already have honey there, so if you pollinate it again, it would just pollinate that one.
Because if I were to, for instance, create a ring over here, could I then pollinate over here?
Yeah, you could pollinate here and get like all 3, or do pollinate here, all 3. Just kind of depends on when it happens. Right. But you still need to have the nectar out here. You have a wild. This would be my personal thing.
Advice.
You get, I would forage again. Because if you forage again, you can immediately fulfill your wildflower, thus stealing it from me, but also fulfilling it there. So when you pollinate next time, you could pollinate all 3. Boom.
But I thought I already pollinated this one.
You have, but if you decide to sell that one or whatever, then you can repollinate for 3. Gives him a better multiplier for honey production and everything.
Right, so if I forage, I go boom, I take that one. I fulfilled that.
Perfect.
That would be my turn.
Which I would say is a very solid turn, because, as he said before, I have to recall my bees.
To me, and I still have one bee left, because I made that choice to get one more than you. So, the reason I did that is, now I knew he'd have to remove from here. I was going to spend the 5 to get that. I can't anymore. However,
I mean, it gives you a potential getting 5 every time that activates.
The only reason I would do that is to try and get more to spend on the wild tokens, to be quite honest.
Right.
Or I could go straight for my
Pollinating. Yeah.
And now that I have a trio there, that might not be a bad idea. So I'm going to grab that for the pollinating. And this would not be a good one, simply because, I mean, I'm only getting 2 out of that.
Yeah, you're only activating 2. You would be pollinating for 2. You'd be able to forage, get some more pollen, essentially, that you can sell at market later.
However, if I were to build like this,
you'd be one step closer to
an acai. So I think that's what I shall do.
Yep. Perfect. All right, so since he's just placed his bee, my turn. I just recalled all mine, which is good news for me. So what I'm going to be doing here is he's literally on everything. So the best bet for me would be go here, pick up this since I don't have any victory points, and I will be activating it here. Now doing this activates for 2 of these, which gets me 2 individual 5s. So I got 10 points there. I have a wild and I get a new bee. Now for my wild, I am going to forage. I'm going to go here, pick this up before you steal anything else from me, and go there.
Okay, now for me, I'm out of bees, so this is the point where I recall everything.
On to me. All right, for my next trick, here we go. I'll get a newbie here and place it here.
Here's a question for you.
Yes.
Once I pollinate after fulfilling one more round, like let's say I finished this ring here.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be able to forage again. Let's say I was able to fill another one there.
You pollinate here with your fan and you activate all 3 if you happen to have this one collected as well.
Right, but then my question is, what do I do with that honey if I have another opportunity to pollinate again?
If you have, well, you can't do anything with the honey that's already made. So if it's already made there, this is just going to sit here until he can take it to market to sell, right?
So how do you take something to market?
To take something to market, you either have a wild, which we've been kind of producing in our hives so far, but you also have to have a market token. So this is where it kind of progresses to the marketplace. You need to start instigating marketplaces in there so that you can actually take your honey or pollen that you've collected and sell it.
It wouldn't be a bad choice to go ahead and take
Yes.
the market one, put it here. I get my acai.
Yep.
And I'd be able to forage, which I'm trying to see if I'm near.
You're right here.
Yeah, I thought I was.
So you could forage, get it, pollinate all 3, and then go to market immediately.
Immediately. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
It's a great move.
So, going to do that. Going to do that.
So activating, he wanted to forage, so he's foraging over to the acai, taking that, putting it in, moves his fan to pollinate on all 3. So he's going to take one that he pollinated. So
which ones did I
boom, boom, and boom.
He's
So
helping the blind.
he's into this mask. You can't see. He's this weird beekeeper, man.
It's distorting my eyes kind of like a bee.
thought you were
seeing like 5 of everything.
I thought you were born in darkness.
You only became a beekeeper recently. I was born in it, molded by it. Okay, let's see here.
I love it. So he's done his foraging. He's pollinated. He can now go to market.
Now going to market, I've got these guys that I can do. Or not do.
So he could fulfill this one. He could fulfill this one. Both were 7 points. The only advantage to one or the other would be the bonus activation. So would you rather forage again, or would you like to sell another thing in the market?
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have anything at that point to sell at the market because I can't do both of them.
You could sell pollen, or you could sell one of your honey. They're worth the same at this point, unless you wanted to get 1 more point than the others by doing the acai. So I would do that one, go to market, sell either the acai for 7 or the pollen for 6. Now, if he had multiple of the same thing, then it sells for that much a piece. So if he had 2 acai, then it would be like 14 points versus just the 7.
Right. So going to market here, I think the smartest choice, if I was thinking I could get another acai before you do, because once I sell the honey, it opens that space back up for another pollination, right?
For more pollination.
However, it would have to be from one built adjacent to it, yes?
Not adjacent to it, it just has to activate a fan or a wild for you.
And then I can put that anywhere on.
And then you can pollinate anywhere. Yep.
So I think what the best choice, since I'm ahead of you on honey making facilities at the moment.
Yes.
I think the best thing to do would then be to go ahead and save up my acai, so I'm going to try and beat you to it. I'm letting you know. Normally I wouldn't let him know.
I have no idea what he's doing. I'm aloof, I'm just watching bees.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were being normal.
Oh, well.
Okay,
Just
so...
be yourself, okay?
I can't believe this. I'm losing to a rush.
Oh.
So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to go ahead and... Does this one use an acai? I can't tell.
So this one does the wildflower and the acai.
Don't want to do that one. We want to do that one.
So you're going to do this. So he's going to be playing a wildflower and a cherry blossom, collecting this for 7 victory points. So he's got to pay the pink and the brown. So brown and pink.
So if I do that one...
They go back, but now he gets to activate the next, this little bonus here to sell again, if he wants to.
So I get to activate that, I could sell again. Now, here's the question. I can't really build up acai unless I build another acai somewhere. I'm nowhere near building another acai.
Not currently.
So what I could do is activate the sell again. Now, can I sell both this and the pollen?
You can only sell one or the other. So it's one transaction per marketplace. So it's if you're selling the pollen, you sell the pollen. If you sell rosemary, you sell rosemary, wildflower, etc.
So I could do then this one and bring that down from 7 to 6. I'm looking over at your hive over here. You've got one acai built, and it looks like you're in the process of building another.
Maybe.
So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to try and steal that from him. I'm going to go ahead and sell that, bring that down 1.
Okay, so he's going to get 7 points.
7 points.
Right here.
This is...
That's just victory points at the end of the game. So
not spendable.
Not spendable, but you do have those points guaranteed.
But that does end my turn.
That was a good turn.
Long turn.
Long turn, but a lot of explanation. You saw how it happened. He did awesome. Visited the market and everything. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
All with one little bee.
It's amazing how that works. Yeah, you're making it fun.
That's my job.
That's perfect. Okay, I am going to go here to get a pollination. And I'm going to go right there with it.
I wanted the pollination, but I didn't want to spend 2 bees on it.
You can do it. I'm okay with it.
I'm sure you are.
Get out that beeline. Let's ganga. Hey.
I have one here. Okay, fine.
Fine, I'll do it. I'll go.
Again, comment below. I'll be good at the mission.
I will go. I will do it.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and...
I'm going to need you to fill these up.
With what? Let's grab... Oh, I can't. There's one there already, right?
You got to beeline it.
I got to beeline it and pay 5. I don't feel like that's worth it. So many hard decisions. All right, just doing it. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves that. Spend a 5. Here you go.
Oh, wow. Big spender.
Big spender.
Get in the wild.
Get in the wild. If I do this, I've got a foraging and a take to market and potentially a fan. But it does create, for me...
Another wildflower.
I'm going to go ahead and forage.
Now you're looking to get a wildflower right now.
But I'm nowhere near a wildflower right now.
You have to move 2 spaces. Remember, you can spend 2 victory points to move an additional space. So he's going to do that.
Spending.
So he moves 1 for free for his foraging, and then the additional 1 to get to his wildflower. Fill his space to produce more. Nice. So that was your foraging.
That was my foraging. Now I'm going to do this to take this
to
guy.
pollinate. Yep.
And if I pollinated here, I would get 2 more of the wildflower and 1 more of the acai.
Brilliant. Yes. And I see what you're doing here.
I could do that, or
I don't think there's an or at this point. He should do it and then collect this order.
That was the one I was trying to
So
go for.
he's going to fulfill it, right? He's going to go there, get his acai, go to market, and immediately buy that, right? So it's all going to go back, but a very good move in that regard. So boom, that happened. Oh, and guess what? You activated a bonus going to market. Now you think you don't have anything to sell? You actually do.
Oh,
Come on
I
down.
do.
You have that, or you can sell your pollen, but they're both the same price. So it depends on what you would want to do. I only have pollen at this point.
You only have pollen at this point? I think I'm going to use the pollen.
And he gets...
Take more from him so that he can't grab that.
Well done.
The thing is, I'm spending my victory points faster than I think I'm getting them.
No, I think you're doing great because you're actually, you're spending them, but he's getting guaranteed victory points at the end. And he's almost to his race for the queen contest here. He has to complete 3 orders and he'll get 20 points. So, I mean, he's already almost there. My problem is I am nowhere near getting what I would like, but it's okay. I was going to do something, but, I don't know what I'm doing
He's
now.
been playing my turn for me. It was great.
Yeah. All right. I was just excited. It was good. Okay,
that was what I was planning to do, but I was also looking at this one like, that one took 3 resources and this one took 2. So I was like,
yeah,
they're both worth the same amount. So I was like,
it was a good one. I might as well go here.
Create another
Right.
acai.
I'm creating another acai, right? And I get to forage twice and pollinate and collect 5. So I'll go ahead and collect my 5. And then I'm going to forage for 1 here, pick up my acai, and then I'm going to forage again to pick up my wildflower. I have officially caught up to, no, I haven't caught up to his production point. He's 1 ahead still, but I get to pollinate, which is great. So I will take my fan and I'm going to pollinate here. I'm gonna get this, this, and this. Okay.
I feel like his hive is more impressive than mine.
It may be more things going out in different directions, but that's all I got. That's it. All right, so that concludes my turn. Yeah, I've done everything. And I took this on purpose because it forces him to beeline at this point.
Yeah, which is why I've grabbed 2. I'm obviously not going there, because then I would have to grab 3. Which actually might be a benefit, get workers back. Because then if I'm left with just 1 single, there's nothing I'd be able to do with it.
You have to recall workers. I'm pretty much at the same point as you.
I would waste 1. And so what I could do is I could just spend all 3 since that guy's going to be, without a job anyway. And I could try and grab. It would give me another wildflower.
Wildflowers are the easiest ones to do, but
They're not.
it's like, do you want it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I helped you with that other order, getting the 9-point order there.
It did. It's not going to help me again that way, though. I would need more of the cherry blossoms right now.
Yes.
And the cherry blossoms are, I love this little cheat sheet, there. So it's with the white one on either end.
Yep. Yellow's on the ends.
So if I'm going to do that, then I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to grab money bags over here.
Ah. Well done.
And I'm going to place that there.
Cool. So no completion of any honeycombs for him on that one. I am in a sticky situation because I cannot do anything at this point. Like honey. I have 1 worker bee. I cannot beeline anywhere. And everything is taken. So, that being said, I have the unfortunate opportunity of having to recall. But I am in the good graces of the fact that he did his beeline there because now he's going to have to recall.
Yes.
All right.
And here's the even more unfortunate part. That lead I had is gone. We now have the same amount. In fact, I think you may actually have 1 more beat than me now.
I have 6.
Okay, we're
tied. We're tied. However, I get to lead out, which is great for me. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal... I'm going to go here. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to pay my 5. Do this. I'm going to do here. And it is going to activate 2 newbies. 5 more, so I'm going to get the 5 back. I get 2 newbies, which is awesome for me. And then I have a wild. Now, I did just complete the cherry blossom honeycomb, and thank goodness for me, I am right by it, and I don't want you to have it. So I'm going to take that cherry blossom so that you do not take it.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
Well, that was just rude.
I had to. It's the only thing I could do. Shoot.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do in that instance then is I'm going to go ahead and grab this forage. I'm going to grab this guy.
Okay.
I'm going to complete my cherry blossom.
Perfect. You get 5 points for that.
Thank you.
5.
Here's 2 back because I'm going to forage with the forage.
1, 2. Perfect. Yep.
Take that last cherry blossom.
Brings it back to the hive.
Yes. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do then is, because that activated, you got me the 5, but it also activates my production.
Yes, it does.
So where'd my fan go?
It's
There
already
it
on
is.
there.
Now I could place this anywhere. However, right now I currently have 1 rosemary.
And that's it.
That's
So you
1
need...
rosemary, 2 cherry blossoms. Do I have 2 cherry blossoms on here next to each other? I don't think I do. There's 1 there, 1 there. So I would not be able to get 2 cherry blossoms this turn. What I can get is this guy here. Because I could activate this, get my acai, 2 more of my wildflower. Or I could go here and get 1 of all 3, yes?
Yep. That's your best bet.
That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that gives me
Wildflower, acai, and cherry blossom.
wildflower, acai, cherry blossom. Yes. Okay, that would be my turn.
Nice. Okay. Here is where it gets fun. I'm going to take...
Well, normally when he says fun, he means fun for him.
For a second, but it's, this won't be as fun just yet, but I'm going to place this here. All right, to you.
All right, to me. Gonna grab 2 bees.
Okay.
I'm gonna beeline here.
It's going to beeline to get a market.
I'm going to use that to complete
Another wildflower. Who knew?
another wildflower, but there's a particular reason for that. It's going to allow me to go to market, pollinate,
Go to market.
go to market.
Very good.
If I'm going to market, I now have enough to grab this, yes?
Yes.
Acai, plus the little brown thing.
So paying the 2 to get his order completed,
Which does give me this.
which also activates a foraging for free.
It does indeed. Now,
The only one you have completed is another wildflower here, but you'd
Right.
have to spend
2
2.
more. Now, I have the 2 to spend. However, would that even be worth it?
There's no orders out there. It is the
Yeah.
least amount of nectar to sell at the market, so I would say no.
No. It does allow me to move into a better position.
I'm excited for you. I want to show you something. You're really close here on completing this order.
Yes.
You just need pollen. So just use your forage to just move.
Just
It doesn't matter. Just move, and you're getting pollen for free. Now you can go back to market after you pollinate again.
Right. So pollinating, if I'm doing this one, it's
You already have your rosemary. You need to pollinate for an acai.
I need to pollinate for an acai.
But I would do one where you're going to pollinate 3 if you
Right.
can, which...
The only one that does 3 really, I mean, it would be here. I'd be getting
But
2
if you
more.
get here, you've also set yourself up for one of those other 2.
Right. So this would only do 2 is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that might actually be my best choice, is just to do the 2.
Yep.
So if I do that, I get this guy, which I'm immediately
Acai
going
and
to
your cherry blossom.
spend. The cherry blossom I'm going to keep.
Yes, because you're
Um,
spending to do this one, correct?
Yes.
So your rosemary, acai, and a pollen. He's going to get another victory point. 8 victory points. Sorry, let me rephrase. And, oh, by the way, you get to forage again.
I do get to forage again.
It looks like I've never played before, and he's the one who's played because his combinations are sick right now, and I'm just really excited about how it's going for him. So I don't even care about my honey, but it's just how it goes.
So we're actually going to forage there, but what's that one up top? Can't quite see through
This is acai, and then you're just surrounded by rosemary right
I'm
now.
just surrounded by rosemary, which I've been trying to stay away from in the hopes that you would create one.
Not happening at this point. It's the
No.
only thing I could bank on to get points.
I'm going to stay there, and I think that's my turn because that used another one of those. Now, since I moved here and didn't get anything, does that mean I get another pollen?
Yes, you do.
Alrighty. So I get another pollen.
Are you done yet?
I think so.
That was a good, long, awesome turn. Okay, well, I'm going to try something here. I was going for one thing and then it turned into nothing. So that's beautiful.
I think it's gorgeous.
Yes, well.
Sorry. I think it's gorgeous.
Bah. Okay, well this is going to be the only thing I can really do, I believe, which is unfortunate for me.
I think I know what you should do. You want me, since you've been helping me so much, do you mind if I help you?
Sure, like tell me. Yeah.
You've got an acai here.
No, it's not an acai. The problem is it's the rosemary that I was kind of avoiding at first, but
Right.
I would have loved if it was acai.
Oh, I reversed the colors. Never mind. I haven't played the game enough. I was thinking you had mostly whites and one red, but I did the same thing you did earlier.
Colorblind.
Where you switched the words.
Yeah, it's true. You're dyslexic with colors? Yeah, I am too.
I think that's an actual condition.
Look it up. Comment below if you know. I don't know. Okay, so I'm stuck. Otherwise, I would have done that. I would have totally gone for the acai, but I have not set myself up for that. I have a lot of other options, and that is unfortunate because I need to do something else. So I'm going to just go with what I have here, and I'm going to beeline here, get a forage. I'm going to complete this. Yes, I've completed the honeycomb. I'm same as you, but you've done the nectar, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, because that's the rosemary cells, so we are currently at a tie there. But I'm going to be activating this, so I'm going to be foraging, pollinating, going to market, and whatever I need to do. So at this point, I need to get more cells that I can pollinate for. So I'm going to forage, I'm going to go here, but I'm going to spend 2, get my 3 back, to be able to move an additional 1 to fill up that space since I already created it. And that is my foraging. I am going to pollinate here. To get here, I'm going to get my cherry blossom and acai. I've done my pollinate. I'm going to go ahead and do my wild, and I'm going to pollinate again.
Yeah,
Reason being,
this guy's just pumping it out.
Reason being is I need all this right now.
Yes, you do.
I need it real bad. I am going to be going to market and paying 2 cherry blossoms and 1 rosemary right here to complete this large order, get me some points finally on the board, and it activates another going to market. And the fun part about that is I'm going to sell 2 of my acais. So instead of it just being a 6-pointer, I'm going to sell both for a total of 12 points, moving this now down. So 10, 11, 12. To you.
To me. Now, I'm debating between 2 different modes here. So here's what I'm thinking. I could complete this guy right here. Now, I could have done that with this. I still can, technically. I'd be putting myself at a bit of a disadvantage. But that would allow me to go to market, sell these 2, grab this boy.
Yeah.
Repollinate.
Yes. Brilliant.
And do that. Likewise, I could also try and build up towards getting a little bit more. But that would take 2 turns. I'm not sure I want to do that. He's got currently, I believe, 1 more worker than I do. So he's able to do a little bit more each time. Actually, I think he's got more than 1 more worker than I do.
Well, I will once I get my new bees back.
Right. So I kind of also want to get some new bees. And so what I could do is I could turn this into a 3rd one. That I could do both at the same time. You'll have your bees off of the board at that point and give me a free raid.
board. Yep.
And so I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go over here, because this guy's costing me just 1. I'm going to grab this. And how do I want to orient that? That's the hard part. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it that way.
Since you've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and go here. Oh, shoot, no. Because I'd still be stuck. I need to beeline it, because otherwise I just lose out on another bee again.
Yes.
So I'm going to go here, spend my 5 to get me a wild.
Is this our last boy here? That is.
Do I close something? Yes, I'm going to close this. So I've closed that. I get 2 wilds and a new bee. Newbies! 2 wilds. What do I need to do? I am going to Yep, I'm gonna pollinate here for one. Get 2 of these guys back, as well as my acai. And then for my other one, I am going to
spend it.
Go to market, because I can spend these 2. And that's where it's funny. So like I could spend those 2, get 12 back, or get a guaranteed 9 plus another pollination.
Right.
So I'm gonna probably go with that one because it's an additional action and I get to pollinate again. Ooh, what do I need there? Well, that's unfortunate. I can't pollinate where I want to go. So I'm gonna pollinate there again for free. So I just get it right back. That's great.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna go ahead and, ooh, do I want to do that or that? I want to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and place 1 there.
Oh.
So I still have 1 left over. Gonna grab that. Gonna complete this bad boy.
Okay, another cherry blossom. Obviously no nectar out there, but still gets to activate his stuff, which is great.
So the first thing I'm going to do is use the fan here. I think I need to go right here. So what that does for me is that gets me 2 of these and an acai.
Okay.
Now, you would imagine at this point I'd be going to market. You'd be very right. So,
well, just kidding. Fine, do it.
So one of the highest ones up right now is a cherry blossom. I have 2 of those. So what I can do is I can take both of those cherry blossoms to market. Ooh, I'm so split between 2 things and I don't want to tell you what the second one is.
I think at this point it doesn't really matter. He's kind of killing me.
Okay.
Like Batman and Bane's under here. Just
that gets me 12.
Yes. Move the cherry blossoms down.
Yes.
All right. Here's your 12.
Thank you. And that does conclude my turn. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just 2 newbies. Your wild was going to market. Pollinated. Yep. Again.
Time to recall?
Yep. I have to recall. So all of my bees come back. Guess who's back?
Back again.
My bees are back.
This is where things get spicy. Because you managed to recall, which is what I was counting on, I can go here. I am going to spend the 5 in the late game, but there is a reason. Because if I grab this guy right here, I end the game. Because now I have 2 of these. I just need 1 of these. So I spent that last little bit to get my last little bit. So what I can do then is, with this combination, I can then move the fan again. I can move it to here. What that allows me to do is that allows me to grab
rosemary and a cherry
a
blossom.
rosemary and a cherry blossom. So I always forget which one's which.
These 2.
These 2.
Yeah, the pictures are on
They
there
all just
too.
look like gummies I want to eat.
I mean, it's hard for him to see in the mask, but there are pictures of the pollen and the shapes on the actual thing. So,
There are?
yeah. He's like, okay,
Oh, okay.
I'll cover your left. I'll cover your...
That's
Yeah. It's like being back at the DMV.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, just checking. So with that, I could then gain more, but that doesn't really do me any good.
It does, because it's worth a victory point at the end.
Oh, the honeys are?
Yes.
Left here?
Yes.
Well, then I might as well do that again, huh? I would only get 1 more, but it's 1 more, and that's one of these guys, yes? I did it right. Okay, and then for this guy, I'm going to market. And what am I going to market for?
Another card.
Another card. And
So 2 wildflower and a rosemary, the star one.
now at this point, if I'm understanding correctly, that ends the game.
Yeah, so there's 2 different scenarios that activate the end of game. It's where 2 of these 3 piles are completely out, which that's where he's activated. Or the other option is if 4 of these 5, because the pollen included, 4 of them get to the very last point. So it really depends on how it goes. Typically the game ends here just because those are bigger points and then bonuses. So
Right, and my thinking was he's starting to gain momentum again. He's now got way more workers than me, so before he was able to snowball that, I needed to end it quickly. Well, I still had a hope of having more points than he did.
that is fair.
The question is, did I?
I'm pretty sure he trashed me because he got way more orders. That's usually where the big points come in, because as far as our contests, we are basically neck and neck. So we will go ahead and activate endgame. So nothing happens here, and we will tally everything up. You're going to be counting up overall how many coins you have, how many points you got from the contest, like the orders that he fulfilled, contests we have to resolve, and then any additional honey that we had on the board left is going to be all tallied up into the final total. So we're going to go ahead and do our honey first. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a pollen, which also counts as a point. So I got 5 additional here. So put all those back. How many did you get?
Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, and a pollen.
So he's still going to get 4. Give me a 1. I'll just steal that from you.
All right.
So we've done our honey and pollen. Next step is going to be our contests. Now, the fun thing with contests is if you tie for the first place, second place, third place, whatever it is, you guys both share the exact same amount. Since there's only 2 players, usually if one wins, the other one gets nothing. But in this case, we both tied on the 2 end of game contests. So the most nectar, we both filled in 6 of our honeycombs. So we both get 20 points. So here's 20 for you, here's 20 for me. Fewest rosemary cells, we both only had 1. Both had the fewest. So here's 20 and 20 for me. Okay, so contests have been done. We've already done our honey and pollen. Last but not least, well, second to last would be counting up how many points you have here. I have 19. I'm just gonna take a 20 chip and put 1 back.
All right, you're gonna make me do math this late.
Oh my gosh, there's 16, 14, and a 9. So 16, 14, that's 30, and a 9.
39.
So I was 1 off.
You were 1 off. Yeah.
There you go. So that's all the contests. Now you just add up how many total you had. Okay, so after tallying everything up, I came away with 84 points. Not bad. Not bad.
That's not bad.
For being as terrible as I did. I wasted so many turns. Okay, and his whopping
122.
122. So he demolished me on this. Almost got like a whole third more than me. Oh my gosh, that was bad.
I keep trying to tell you. You adopted the lifestyle of the beekeeper.
He was molded by it.
Molded by
I mean, I was molding my honeycomb. It just didn't work out. So what we were talking about was we noticed he for sure destroyed me on that extra turn 2 different times. And that gives him the combinations to be able to buy the stuff. And a lot of it comes down to how the orders come out.
The orders kind of fell in my favor.
They really did. Everything. He's like, I'm just going to pollinate here and go to market and see what happens. And it's like, oh, I get to buy 2 things. Okay. Yeah, he killed me. But there you have it for the game Honey Buzz. What do you think?
You know, I really like it. It was a lot more strategy because you look at the box and it's so give me the box.
Okay, here's the box.
I mean, look at this thing. It looks so innocent. It looks like something you'd play with your kids before bed and then put up in the top of the closet so they never think about it again so you don't have to play it with them again. That was so much strategy, I don't think I'd let my kids play it.
I've played it with my kids and he loves playing it. I usually destroy him because he doesn't think about the strategy, but it's still fun for him.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot more strategy than I was thinking. I like I said, several times you saw me struggle. I'm like, I could do like 3 or 4 different things I got to pick here. And so I actually really enjoyed it. It was very engaging. It would be a little bit better without
without the googly eye glasses things he's got here. Weep, weep, weep.
But overall, I would say this is about a 7 to an 8 for me, which is high praise coming from me. Like, you'll see a lot of our videos where it's like, oh, this game is amazing, but it's because we normally show you the 9s and 10s. I would say a good 80% of games out there are in my lower half. This is definitely still in the upper half.
I love this game.
Is a good game.
I love this game.
And I can see how this would be so much more fun with more people. One, because of this section right here.
The foraging section does get larger. There's all the way to the end, as I said at the beginning, to 4 players. You have more options. You're fighting over nectar.
But
everything.
I can just see like trying to hop over everybody, just having to account for one person.
It was so much easier. Like, it's challenging, but it's easier to just like, oh, I'm just gonna swipe these before they get here. Great.
But I loved that entire thing. So I also like these little gummies. I mean, game pieces. Don't let your kids that are too young get a hold of them.
They literally look and feel like gummies.
Feel like gummies.
So well done on the
eating fruit snacks while you're playing the game. You may confuse a few things.
I mean, it might be a little bit harder than a fruit snack, but still the same texture.
You wouldn't know until you bit down. But overall, fantastic game. I absolutely loved it. It's so funny to me how something that's so innocent looking can end up being a really fun cutthroat even.
Yes, really. I mean, I was trying to block you out so you'd have to beeline. Didn't work in my favor in a couple of instances, obviously. But I mean, it's a lot of fun. But as we said, 1 to 4 players. It does have a solo mode, which I'll probably do a video on that later, but 1 to 4 players, 45-ish minutes, 90 minutes if you're just taking your turns. Obviously, we're explaining a lot more, so it's going to take a little bit more time, but you get to see the strategic wheels burn. Yeah, just going.
We may explain some of the things that we're doing just so that you get an idea of kind of how the strategy works.
And it says ages 10 and up, like he said. I wouldn't play with this kid. I played with both my kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old now, and they both have played it, really enjoy it, so they get it. Strategy isn't all there, but it's still great. But there you have it for Honey Buzz. Again, new game, lots of fun. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications, as well as comment below on what you'd like to see Bane here wear next game. And we'll try and fit that into our next videos. But we will catch you then next time on Game Night Tonight.
Goodbye.